Okay, we're going live. Let's make sure it's on all the platforms. I should have done the countdown thing, but whatever.
Yeah, I like the countdown thing.
Why can't I see Noor on the...
Am I not
Do
here?
you see yourself, Noor?
Yeah.
Do you see yourself on the Twitter
Oh, wait.
broadcast one, the Periscope? Wait, I see you now.
Quick looky. Yeah, I see me now.
Okay, we can begin.
If we don't have any technological problems, like it's not a complete episode.
Right.
You can't go a whole episode without having little issues and shit here and
Yeah, it's not. It's tradition.
there. We start at 7:22.
22 minutes of trying to get our shit together. But anyways, welcome everyone to Dishes and Dimes, an NBA podcast. This is our weekly live show. We typically go on Tuesdays, but we had to reschedule this week. But you should expect to see us next week on a Tuesday. And presented by basketballnews.com, as you all know. Today, there's much to discuss. It's funny because I remember like throughout the season, we were like anticipating that this offseason would be like kind of boring. None of the big names are moving. All the free agents are generally role players or restricted free agents. And all of the restricted free agents we expected were extended. But nonetheless, it was actually really interesting. Oh, Noor?
Yeah, she was frozen.
She'll join us again. But yeah, nonetheless, quite a few very interesting things happened. As you all know, we are based in Canada, so we have a special interest in the Toronto Raptors. There she is.
No,
we haven't even started
We're
yet.
gonna hit this problem, so just get used to it now.
I was just introducing the first topic. So, as we all know, Fred VanVleet was extended for the Toronto Raptors, 4 years, $85 million. Now, I'm going to ask you, ladies, what did you think of? First of all, what did you think would happen? And second of all, what do you think of the contract? So, Sandy, do you want to go ahead?
Yeah, no. I'm surprised. I was surprised. I could say that I was really surprised. I judging by the way he was speaking, I really thought when that number of 117 was popping around right before everything kicked off, I really thought, okay, he's going to be paid at least 100 mil. We're not giving him 100 mil, so it's deuces to Freddie. And so when I saw the number, when the 85 mil came, I was elated. Yeah. I was like, thank God. But no, like I'm super, 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 super happy that we were able to retain Fred. He's foundational to what we're doing here on the team, and it would have been really, really tragic if we lost Fred, given the connection he has with Pascal and what they've been able to build together. I think they're really, really good together. And he's going to be a great part of our core for a long time. I'm really excited about it.
How about you, Noor?
Yeah, I think from the get-go, I always thought that we were going to bring him back. Like, we developed him, we brought him here. He was part of our G League. He won the championship. And then we developed him even more with the Raptors. And then to see how he grew with Pascal, and then having Lowry just like tutor him and take him under his wing, everything just seemed so perfect that it was like, it would look really bad on the Raptors if they didn't at least offer him what Fred thought he would deserve. Especially after things that had gone through with DeRozan and everything. I think at this point, Masai would really be careful with how he's handling people of his team and how they would perceive him as well. And I always just also thought that based off of his press conference and everything, he was really he wanted to bring everybody back. That's what it sounded like. It sounded like he wanted to run it back. He believed in the team. He thought that they would go far. I think the only thing that I thought would stop Freddie, like Sandy, was money. I thought that like if maybe the Knicks offered him a shit ton of money or anybody else offered him a shit ton of money, like maybe he would value having a bag over having a competent and contender team. At the same time, I also figured like the Masai is not gonna insult him with his offer, and Fred's not dumb. Fred's gonna realize that like at the end of the day, like your championship pedigree is what's gonna cause you to get more money in the future. So I'm happy to see him stay. I think we're all happy to see him stay. I think we can assume he might even take a leap next year, just next to Pascal. You never know. So I think just seeing how far he's come and how our investment in him, it's nice to see that we've locked him again for another 4 years.
Yeah. I think you guys said it all. I was like pretty confident that he would stay. I think that he had like his roots were really deep with the team. And it was kind of hard to ignore. I think that he was, I couldn't envision Masai lowballing him. You know what I mean? Because it takes a long time to like cultivate your own point guard and grow them in your system and have them learn everything under a veteran like Larry and everything. So I don't think they were going to let that go easily. And also when you like you guys mentioned, the fact that he came into the league with Pascal and they had this journey together and it mirrored each other. I think that he sees himself just kind of being a point guard for this guy for years to come. So it's really good that they secured him and for such a good deal too. Like Fred is, I don't think Fred's ever going to be like a max player, but he is definitely like already like fringe all-star status. He's been improving like every single year, maybe not as drastically as Siakam, but he's definitely been improving every year. Like we went from him being unusable in the Sixers series last playoffs to being like a vital part of a starting lineup for this season. Yeah, like it's such a strange difference. Like he was a 10 points per game guy, and then now he's like in the All-Star discussion for the last season. So I don't doubt that he's going to be like a good value for the price that they paid for him. And in the future, like if I don't see them ever trading Fred, but if in the future, I think that his contract will be like a really, really good bargaining chip, because it's good to have players that like, you don't want all your players to be underpaid on good deals, or on like really cheap deals if they're talented, because if you ever want to do a trade in the beginning, like you want to make it so that the trade is as even as possible and you don't have to add too much filler and all that. So yeah, I think it was a great deal. And honestly, it was like the most important part of the free agency. Like securing Fred was like, this is their guy for the next 4 years. You need to secure him. That is the most important part of free agency this season. So in that sense, the Raptors, like they had a huge success with that. But what came secondary and what came third behind that was securing their center rotation. So as we all know, they offered 1 year kind of lump sum payments to either Gasol, first Serge Ibaka, and Serge Ibaka opted to go with a 2-year contract instead with the LA Clippers. Cool. Yeah, that was like left field. I thought if Serge goes anywhere, and I thought that was a huge possibility, it would be Brooklyn. Like I thought he would go to Brooklyn. That's where all the rumors were. That's where I thought he'd have an awesome fit. Like they'd use him well, but the Clippers was just an odd choice.
He does have a huge crush on Kawhi. He has a huge crush on Kawhi. So I think that pull, like Kawhi probably just have to be like, what it do, baby, like through a text. Like, hey, I'm on the way. Let me pack my bags. Sorry, Messiah, I'm out here. That was gut wrenching. I think it just sucks because Messiah was not going to offer him that contract. He was not going to go more than 1 year. He was going to make sure that his books were going to be clean and he's not, waiting around on expiring contracts and on bigs that he might not want to move forward with in the future, which is fine. But the fact that it's the Clippers, I don't know. It just makes it so much harder because, like they've been trying to poach everyone from us. They steal content. They steal our shit. And the first time I see the Clippers account saying anything related to Kawhi and Serge's time in Toronto, like I'm pulling up to the building. Steal our shit. They do this all the time.
Yeah. It's like for me, the funniest thing is that Serge Ibaka was like a bench player for the Raptors, and even though he had to like put aside a lot of his pride, fans preferred it that way. They preferred for Serge Ibaka not to be the starting center on the team. They preferred that he come off the bench. And then it's funny that like now that he was heading to the Clippers, everyone's like, "Oh my God, they got Serge Ibaka." It's like
so excited.
seriously, like he was so overlooked during his time in Toronto. And then now he's suddenly like OKC Surge when you guys are talking about him in LA. Like it was just so odd. Surge is like an amazing player. He's like an offensive hub. Like you can run your offense through him for plays at a time. But the reason why he came off the bench was because defensively he was a bit of a liability. We preferred, or Nick Nurse preferred for Surge to go up against opposing bench units because that's where he would shine most. So it's weird. It's in that sense, I feel like it's not as big of a loss, play wise, as much as it is like culture wise. Like Serge was like a huge part of the Raptors culture. When I think Raptors, like I immediately think like Lowry, and then I think Serge and stuff. Like that's what I think of. So the last few years, he's been like just a defining part of it all. So in that sense, it sucked. But for Gasol, it's kind of the opposite. Like he had a much more brief time on the Raptors, and although we have like this attachment to his play and how like his dad energy on the court, I'm gonna really miss like that steadying force Gasol would bring when he was on the court. Like it's kind of like a Lowry-esque where you're just comfortable when he's on the court. He's not gonna give much offensively, much of anything, but it just everything kind of makes sense. It flows better.
You just trust his IQ, I think.
You just trust his judgment so much. So I'm really interested to see how they remedy that missing piece. Like, Mark was what, like 6 points or 9 points or something like that. It's not his input would be very easy to mask, but I want to know what covers up the other things that he does. Like, are they going to rely on the growth of the other young guys to kind of, their collective IQ and development covering up that missing piece? So, what do you guys think about Mark leaving? Because Mark leaving made a lot of sense. That one, I think that he was third on their list. Like he was like the very last person that they were offering that money. I think that if Serge took the contracts, Mark would definitely not be coming back.
Yeah.
They came to Mark after Serge made the rejected the offer. So what did you guys think about his move to the Lakers?
Go ahead, Sandy.
I mean, I think it makes sense in the regard that I think our expectations of what we would want Mark to do on this particular team would be completely different from what the expectations are going to be on the Lakers. He's not going to have the same burden that he has on the Raptors. He's not going to play as many minutes as he would be expected to play on the Raptors if he were to have stayed. And, judging by what he said in his little goodbye message to Toronto, it gave me the impression that he felt like it would be doing us a disservice if he stayed because he's simply not the same player.
That's what I appreciated from his statement.
I really appreciated that. I thought it was a very honest and self-aware
comment. Very real, very raw.
And, I also, it came off like if it was his choice, he probably would have stayed, but he kind of knows what he can give at this point in his career. And if he's looking for a ring, the Raptors are in it's not like they tear down the team, but we're in a place where we're building and we may not be able to get that ring in the next year. So it was the best option for him to chuck the deuces. But it sucks. It really sucks. I think there's a comfort that comes with Gasol when he's on the floor, like you said, and he's just so smart. There are times where he'll pass up a shot and you're like, what the hell are you passing up the shot for?
Where did that come from?
Where it goes, and you're like, oh wait, that was an even better shot.
Yeah.
The person was probably even more open than Gasol was. So we're gonna miss that veteran presence from him. And I wish him all the best It
Yeah.
hurts to say, but
Yeah.
all the best on the Lakers.
He was such a perfect fit.
He was.
I wish he was 31 and not 35.
Right. Like if we could go,
It's so frustrating.
if we could go
Him and
back
Larry,
like
I just
4
wish they were.
years.
I wish they were just 2 years younger
2 years
each.
younger.
Like,
2 years younger.
yeah,
Yeah.
the timelines didn't match. And
Yeah.
like he said, like the Raptors wanted more that he couldn't. He wasn't in the position to give right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like maybe he would be 2 years ago, and he was during championship season. Like, but now I think he was just hitting a wall where it's like, you know, he's calcifying. Like he's just reaching that age as a center where centers kind of seize up. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't matter how great they are. You see the role Dwight Howard of all people is playing today.
Right.
You know, you got to kind of take a different role in order to be usable. So perhaps playing like 15 minutes a night for the Lakers versus 22 minutes a night for the Raptors, and like pulling your hamstring every week is not worth it anymore. You know, especially for like he was like our offensive and defensive kind of just center. So
Right.
I get why he felt like I can't do this anymore. You guys
It's too
I
much.
can't with these young guys. Like I can't keep up right now.
Too much. And on top of that, without Serge, knowing that there's going to be a center that maybe isn't as I mean, like Baines is kind of on par with.
That's the next topic. Anyways.
No, but like, yeah, of course. But I feel like I don't know. We're gonna miss Gasol. We're gonna really miss Serge, his content. That one hurt. Like, like, I had to take like a breath when I saw Clippers. I think if it said Nets, I could have lived with it. I could have been like, okay, yeah, no, that's that's cool. But
You could have understood because you're like, you know what? Maybe it's that KD remnant.
Right, it's like let's run it back. Let's no championship. Like I get that, but Clippers. That one
Like
hurt.
literally, I want
That
to
one
fight Lawrence Frank, man. It's
He's
hard.
not in Canada, like JT. We need a ban. Like
I find
more-
solace. I find solace in the fact that someone is not winning the championship, and it's either Milwaukee loses or the Clippers lose, and either way, I win. So no matter what happens,
Facts,
going forward, one team wins the championship. Someone's going to go home very
Someone's
upset.
gonna go. And so many teams have put all their eggs in like next year's basket. So
Oh yeah,
it's gonna be
the season's gonna be so much fun to watch. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be petty. Oh, I'm gonna
Iman
be
says that the
petty.
Lakers aren't winning. I agree. I think the Lakers are in
yeah.
a waltz to
Yeah.
the championship,
They are.
and LeBron's getting ring number 5.
I always forget we have a chat going on here.
Yeah, I just mentioned it. I'm like,
Like
oh my god,
that.
so many people are talking.
God damn it. Sorry guys, help him more.
So as
James.
I said, we were going to go into the next topic when Sandy brought up Baines. So speaking of Baines, we have some new additions to the Toronto Raptors playing in Tampa Bay. that doesn't seem real still. So, Aaron Baines, Malachi Flynn, Alex Len, and Jalen Harris. Jalen Harris is the second rounder that the Raptors chose. For those who don't know, for those who didn't stay up past the first round of the draft. So these additions, what are you guys feeling about them? Do you feel like I'll share my personal opinion. I think that Masai did about as well as he could have done, considering what he's lost. I think he made a really good recovery, a solid recovery that fits well into the system. I'm really excited about his picks from the draft. I think those are going to be quick fan favorites just from watching film of the first rounder that they grabbed. He's going to be like a mixture of like Larry's passing, but Van Vliet's like build and like size and stuff. Like it's going to be very interesting. And then you have Aaron Baines and Alex Len. I think Baines is solid. I think that I would have really enjoyed him coming off the bench last season instead of Serge, weirdly enough, if we had that option.
Yeah.
He's very different than either player. He's kind of like a less integrated Steven Adams in the sense that he's such a good screener, and for a team that is so reliant on their backcourt and on their scoring wings, that's such a useful skill to have. I feel like Mark was a great screener, but he was kind of both he and Serge were kind of slow when it came to screens, like setting it, would be really slow and the defender would just go right around them and stuff.
Right.
So it's gonna be really cool to have a guy who could just move and he's like a brick wall either way, and he'll be giving.
Serge will just be confused on screens. Like I'll just look at his face and he'd be like, he doesn't know if he should be there or not.
Serge,
Yeah.
Do you remember that clip of him and OG? You remember that clip of him and OG linking arms?
To this day, I don't understand what was going on there. Like, I don't know what synergy, like what, I don't know.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen.
The video in my head, that one kills me. I think about it when I feel sad because it's the funniest thing. It's just he's just like dragging OG with him the whole time, and OG has no idea how to break free out of Serge's like wrath. It's the funniest thing. Holy cow! I have to watch that afterwards.
As for Len, I haven't said anything about Len. I do think that he's probably going to be like a third stringer. It's going to be very matchup reliant. He's like supposed to be a shooter. He was like a super high pick in the draft. Like I think it was like 4th or something. It just did not pan out. But they picked up someone with like an upside who can fit into the system if need be. He'll bring size. I think, like someone said here, it'll be up to the guards to make him useful. Like I completely agree. Like it's going to be up to Larry, and Larry can make any center look good as long as they, warm bodies.
Larry can make us look like all stars. Honestly, he has
So if I step foot on a basketball court, like immediately my both ankles would just be torn.
Yeah.
They'll be hanging by a thread. 5th overall. Yeah, he was a really high pick, and he just did not pan out. Kind of odd.
What was his class? What year?
I want to say 2015. Correct me if I'm wrong. Was it the Oubre year or the Stanley Johnson year? I feel like that was a bad year for drafting.
It was a bad year, man.
I could be wrong. I don't know which one. I just know that I knew he was like 4th or 5th, but he's like 5th of that draft. But we'll let me actually. Now I'm curious. Give me a second. Alex Len draft year. 2013. Okay, I was wrong.
So how old is he? Let me check that too.
He is 27 years old. So he's the same age as
Oh,
Boucher.
wow. Okay.
Yeah, so not too young, not too old. I think he kind of is, but maybe he can be maximized by some good guards, but we'll see.
I mean, classic big, can't really do much outside of tipping the ball in and being in the post.
I think if they just
the floor.
Can do when it comes to Alex Len is just kind of like just strip down his skill set and make it so that when you're on the court, you just get rebounds and you roll to the basket when Larry gives you a pass. Like just like kind of what he did with Dwayne Casey did with Biyombo. Just like even though they're not the greatest, just utilize their size. Don't do anything but just get the ball. Like elbow people if you need to.
Right.
Do what you gotta do. But we'll see.
So about Boucher next season.
Sorry?
How do you guys feel about Boucher next season? How do you
think he's also extended? Yeah.
I'm excited about Boucher in a weird way. I feel like
I am too.
I'm happy for him because I feel like from where he's come to get to this point where he's getting paid by the team, besides putting his face. I say that kind of because I don't know if it's kind of a threat, like I'm giving you this money.
He's like whispering, "Fucking do this
so
right.
Figure it out." Like I don't know if it's one of those things.
His hands like shaking as he's writing.
Like, please God, please God. But shout out to Boucher. Like we're super, super, super happy for you. I think he's always been this energy guy. When he's on, he's on, and we saw it last season against the Lakers. I think against the Clippers too. When they played that back-to-back and everybody was just amazing and everybody was injured and Boucher came out to do so. I think what he does right, he does really well. I'm just nervous about the amount of time he's going to be on the floor and what that's going to look like depending on the matchup, like the Sixers. Like how is that going to look? But again, Boucher's somebody who's right, but Boucher's somebody who's always kind of surprised me. Like every time I put a cap on what he could do, he'll come out and he'll dominate. And I feel like
he's very matchup.
Right.
Sorry, I was just gonna say he's matchup based, like very heavily matchup based.
Right.
But yeah, what you see is kind of what you get with Boucher.
Yeah.
I feel like he will always have like I just from watching him the last couple of years, he'll always have these bursts where he looks like whoa, like
Yeah.
if only he was like 21 years old or something. Like this
Yeah.
guy's amazing.
Yeah.
And then there'll be
Yeah.
times where he just kind of looks really lost and just out of his depth.
Yeah.
Hopefully that. Yeah, he has these times where he just looks like a rookie on the court, where he's just
Right.
He almost looks
huge.
defeated sometimes. Have you guys noticed
yeah,
that?
yeah.
Like,
He's like very emotional on the court.
yeah.
If
Like you'll
something
notice
goes-
like he missed a dunk or he wasn't able to get a block or someone blocked him, and you can visually see like his face. He's hard on himself, and it's like, I mean, it's fine, but it's almost as if how are you going to recover from that on the court? So
Like that DeMar,
Yeah.
the DeMar dunk last season.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I remember.
That was tragic. But like, I don't know. Like, I feel like maybe I have faith in Boucher. I think maybe he hasn't had enough time on the floor, and I think he could do something really special. I think having more time to play with Lowry, having more time to maybe even start will be good for him, and we'll really get to see what he's made of. So I'm actually really excited. I didn't think I would be, because y'all know how I am with Boosh, but
Boosh.
I mean, let's go. It's the year to do it, Boosh. You can do it. We're counting on you.
I
So I'm
think the
excited.
only thing I'm worried about, well, a couple other things too, but my main concern with him is, oh, it sounds so bad to say, just like talking about an athlete's body type, but his weight maybe. Like I think that as a center,
Yeah.
we rely on you to be able to be that huge force that can just knock people around. And I don't know if Boucher has that just yet.
Yeah.
Again, like Yasmin said, it depends on lineups. So depending on the matchups, I'm sure he's able to assert his dominance the way that a center should against some lineups. But like, if you're going to be up against Philly, if you're going to be up against Lakers, if you're going to be up against even Milwaukee, I want even Miami, like Bam, it's going to be hard for him to go over stuff like that. But he does have speed. He has so much speed. Like his speed's going to catch up to him for sure. Those pick and rolls with Lowry, those huge passes from Lowry are going to be really beneficial for him. And he just has a lot of momentum too. So I think as long as he uses that the right way, even if he's on for 15, 20 minutes, we should be okay. Can't hear you, Yasmin.
Yas, we can't hear you.
Hear me now?
Yes.
Is it fixed? Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's the wire.
Oh, it's all good.
Oh, can't hear you again.
God damn it.
Testing.
Nope. Yeah, there you are.
Testing. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I was just gonna say, I think Boucher is gonna be playing the 4 a lot, because it seems that they didn't bring Rondé back. They didn't pick up any other power forwards. So perhaps Glenn will be getting the minutes at the backup 5, the second backup, and we'll see Boucher coming in for Pascal more often than not.
Yeah.
Which could work. I think it works a lot better. His size makes a lot more sense. He can stand at the corners and shoot. In that case, he doesn't need to take crazy threes above the break or anything. He could just roll to the basket and kind of do what Pascal was doing in 2018, 2019, which I think will be fine for him. So yeah, we know that OG doesn't work well at the 4. He works best at the 5 and the 2, weirdly enough, and the 3. So I can see Boucher playing the floor a lot. So that might be more minutes. That might make his money make more sense. Like the amount that Masai paid him would make more sense. Because we might expect to see him on the court like 20 minutes a day or 20 minutes a game now. In that case,
Wow.
So Montreal's finest. Our own
moving on to the next topic. So yeah, I actually read that article that Noor pointed out, where they were talking about how apparently, was it who around the league specifically? Was it players and coaches that they said?
Yeah, players and coaches. Just like word around the league is that Miami's run in the finals last year, in the bubble, was a fluke. I think they would able to replicate that next year. They thought it was just one of the things that happens in the bubbles. I didn't read the article too in depth, so I'll let you take it over.
Yeah, I saw the same one where they mentioned that it was basically that they felt that a lot of the variables and conditions of the bubble won't be able to be replicated in a regular NBA season. To me, that does make sense, but I think it's unfair to Miami in the sense that a lot of teams don't replicate their finals runs. You know what I mean?
Sure.
It doesn't really mean anything. At the end of the day, they got there,
Yeah,
which is more than a lot of teams can say.
Right.
So,
If they
If they-
swept the Bucks, I feel like we pushed that under the rug way too much. That's a huge thing for them to do. Like that's the number one team in the league at that point. They had the reigning MVP champ. Sorry,
historically great. They were a historically great team.
Historically,
I feel like we didn't blast Milwaukee enough. Like it's ridiculous. It's absolutely
not.
2 times now. There's a problem there. If something happens again,
and that's sweep. Like sweep is huge.
Giannis.
Got swept.
yeah.
Like, that's
Just that, that fading meme?
Yeah.
The guy he just fades away. It's gonna happen. Yeah, I don't think it's fair to them. If they are not able to replicate the conditions of the bubbles, if they fizzle out in the second round or something, so be it. That happens to a lot of teams that make the finals one year. Big deal. It depends. I guess it'll in turn. If Miami, if what happened to Miami was a fluke, like if the Lakers don't make it to the finals again, would people believe their championship was a fluke? Like, if we want to rephrase the question, like I don't think so. I think it'll still count to a lot of people. So,
but I also think that this Laker team is significantly better than last year.
Yeah, it doesn't.
If they don't make it, then it is. I mean. Then it's definitely a fluke. If they don't win this year, it's definitely a fluke. Like,
which is like the storyline I'd like to see.
I'd
like to see.
As long as it's not the Clippers and it's not Milwaukee, I'm so Nuggets. Somebody please.
I want the bubble to look like it was like just fever dream, like that none of us understand. We're like, did that happen?
Remember it? Yeah.
It's just a write-off year in the NBA world. No one talks about it. No one speaks about it.
I was gonna say if LeBron wins his next ring, what do you think MJ is gonna do? He's probably shaking in his boots at this point.
Yeah, because he would be like, what is it called? One away from matching his record.
I don't know.
Honestly, I don't think he cares. He's weirdly like kind of level-headed when it comes to like the GOAT conversation. Like he doesn't really entertain it that much, and when he does talk on it, he always says something that's very measured and fair. Like I think that him and LeBron are not on bad terms or anything. Right. I think it's a fan thing. We want to see the messiness.
Right. But then at the same time, I feel like MJ is very competitive, and that's something that he's able to hold on to. So
what, he's gonna suit up again? Come on, the MLE.
He's gonna suit up against VAR probably. So he's gonna ask Hayward to take a seat and he taps it instead. Let me in, coach. I need that ring. LeBron's coming.
Can you imagine? Oh my god, that's hilarious. He goes on like the vetman on a super team. But so he can get another ring.
I almost feel like LeBron might be more impressed by that than MJ would be. Like I think if anything, LeBron would be happy about his legacy as opposed to MJ being like, oh, there goes my legacy. Right. Like LeBron seems more caring of those GOAT conversations, I feel like based off of this comments that even about Gasol when he was like, oh, that year when Gasol won MVP, like it should have been me. And it's just like, well, who makes comments like that with someone who's so not that he knew was going to be running the team?
He's a competitor. He's a competitor to like the core.
Yeah.
It's the only way to make sense of it. So speaking of Michael Jordan, his team, the Charlotte Hornets, gave $120 million 4-year contract to Gordon Hayward of the Celtics. That happened. I honestly thought he would head to Indiana because the connection was just so obvious there.
That's what I believe happened.
So I just thought that would be where he would end up. So the Charlotte thing was like, whoa, I did not expect that because he wouldn't be on a competitive playoff team. In Indiana, it would have been interesting. Like he would have Oladipo there. He would have had Brogdon and Sabonis, like Miles Turner. Like that's a good team. He would have been like competing like with the Celtics.
Like legit.
That's so weird.
But stream lags too much for me to listen. But good luck, D&D. Are we lagging a lot?
Is it?
Are we actually? Can someone let us know?
I don't know. People are responding to us.
Yeah, maybe internet, Giannis. I don't know.
Who says for lagging?
Giannis on Toronto. Oh. But everyone else is like, no, it's fine for me. Not at all. You're good.
Sorry, Giannis.
You didn't want to listen. Yeah, you didn't want to listen, bro.
Hopefully it fixes up. I don't know. I think it depends on your internet connection.
Maybe me, honestly. It's fine now. Fine for me.
Talk slower. No. Okay. So yeah, someone put it in this context on Twitter, and it made a lot of sense. Gordon Hayward flipped one All-Star appearance in the West into $218 million, I believe it was. So,
I was just thinking, I was like, what has he done except represent the Utah Jazz in the last 5 years? I don't know anything. He couldn't do anything with the Boston Celtics.
He was injured for most of his run with the Celtics. He has not looked the same since that ankle injury. Whenever he does look good, he breaks his hand or something. He was not present in the second round versus the Raptors. He was not. He was available versus Miami, I think, after game 1 or something, but he did not make a difference for them. So it's good for the Celtics that they parted ways with Hayward, because that just they have too many scorers. They need more role players, talented role players. The Celtics, in my opinion, everyone wants to be a 20-point per game scorer on that team. Everyone wants to
exactly.
You look at how Marcus Smart plays such a spaz. It's he's always trying to go for that game winner and stuff. It's dude, just do what you're supposed to do.
They all have a hero complex. Everyone on the Celtics.
And then you can see Jaylen Brown visibly annoyed when Jason has it going. It's a very just odd dynamic on that team. And then you have Kemba Apparently, he's not going to play for the beginning of the season because his knee is still not right, according to Brad Stevens. So
I saw that. Right.
That contract is not looking very good. He has max right now.
But apparently he's very I don't, obviously, who doesn't love Kemba? Apparently he's very well loved with the team.
Oh yeah.
Jason Tatum is his biggest fan or something. So I don't know, a guy like that, I don't know what they would do with him.
Apparently they were trying to trade him for Drew Holiday, but the Bucks. Yeah. That's 1 year, Daddy Ainge said you gotta get out of here.
So honestly, that front office is so petty. Oh my god, they literally do not care. They'll send
1 year. They gave Kemba 1 year.
Oh, bro, it's just been 1 year. Give him some time, man.
And it's weird because their superstar is 22 years old. So what's the rush? Why are you trying to get
you have so much time. relax, bro. Oh my
and they also got Tristan Thompson, eh?
Oh yeah. That one.
Yeah, that was a good get for them. They needed Tice was too small. They needed someone.
Yeah, and in replacement for Horford too. It made a lot of sense, and think he's gonna make a lot of he'll be a good fit for them for sure. Anywhere but Toronto, Thompson is fine with me.
Yeah, anywhere but Toronto.
But I'm kind of salty that he went to the Celtics. It's almost kind of like he tries to defy Toronto constantly.
They didn't. Toronto, actually, he leaked rumors that there were rumors leaked that Toronto was interested, and then Toronto literally came out and said, "We are not interested."
You could stay where you were. Okay.
You're Brampton doesn't even want you back, Tristan. Just go to Boston, which is better for us. Honestly, it gives us more content and ammo against the Boston Celtics.
That's true. Good point.
So before we give our conference predictions, someone brought up a good point.
Yeah, I saw that.
Let's talk about the Pistons losing their mind in free agency. It's a great topic. So the Pistons, as we all know, just littered their roster with centers and gave $20 million to Jeremy Grant. And Jeremy Grant's cool. I liked him in OKC. He was in OKC, right? Yeah, he was in OKC. Yeah. He went off to Denver. his the playoff run was kind of misleading because he had those games where he would have like 26 points. I think he had it in the versus the Celtics or versus the Lakers. He had a really good game. But he was, I think, one of the worst advanced stat performers in the playoffs this year. Like his numbers were just not good on either end of the floor. But I think that his body type is misleading because he's like big and mobile. He's kind of built like Siakam. It's kind of misleading. People were like, hey, we need that type of body to guard scoring wings like Ben Simmons and Jason Tatum and Giannis and Pascal and all these players. We need that kind of body type to guard that kind of player. So they just looked at Jeremy Grant and said, here's $20 million on a bigger role in a team that'll be his basically. Like
Right.
it's just so bad. And that contract makes me think that they're not like, I don't know what's going on with Blake Griffin there. It's just so odd. It's such an odd fit for him.
I don't understand.
He needs like
bad for him. I feel
And
like
they-
potential is just being wasted.
it's such a waste of a really, really great player. Like injury prone or not, like get Blake Griffin out of
He can
Detroit. Like get him out. This is so
defender.
ridiculous. Like it made me so mad. Like why do you need all those centers? What are you doing with all those centers? Can somebody explain this to
they're
me?
hoarding them. They're hoarding them.
Oh my gosh! Like it's
No one else can
so
have
bad that
You
I
know
feel
what?
bad.
Yeah, Plumlee. They got who did they get? They got.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
They got Plumlee.
Sorry, I wanna. You can go ahead. I'm gonna find the list of all the centers they got.
No, because my whole thing is like, what is Casey gonna do with this team? Like, it's gotten to the point where I feel bad for Dwayne. Like, what's the plan? Like, who are you putting on? I don't understand. Can somebody explain?
So they got.
Here's the theory. What if Dwayne realized that Toronto's going to have no centers, and he's like, grab every fucking center on the market, have no one left, and we're just going to have them stocked, and like no idea what to do with them. We'll just put like Blake at PG, and we'll see what happens. But
So they added. Sorry, I'm just gonna say they added Mason Plumlee, Jalil Okafor, Dwayne Dedmon, Tony Bradley, and Isaiah Stewart. So they added 5 centers in 3 days to the roster for literally no reason. And I'm glad the Raptors didn't get any of those centers because I wasn't interested in any of them.
Can
So
somebody explain how Plumlee still has a job in the NBA? I don't understand that.
like what was it? He was trying to switch a screen, even though there was no screen there. And then it led to the AD game winner.
How
So bad. I'm so glad he's not a Raptor.
get
I
Griffin
think
out,
it
get
makes
Griffin
sense.
out.
Like I really think Dwayne's like they're not getting a fucking center. He's taking all of them because why else would you sign 5 in 2 days? And you like they have no one. They have no one to facilitate the ball, no one to help out Blake Griffin, no one to shoot, like no one to do anything with. They just have like a forest.
I feel bad. Like Blake Griffin needs like who does he need? He needed like a Covington, maybe a George
Lowry.
Hill.
George-
Everyone
yeah.
needs a Lowry. Who else? Even Jay Crowder wouldn't have been bad if they went for that.
Yeah.
He needs like 3-and-D wings and like a point guard. You know what I mean? Like he needs like people who can score from the perimeter that he can pass to because he's
Yeah.
become like a great passer. So yeah, I don't like thinking about Detroit. It makes me sad.
It's like the Knicks, except like the Knicks, if they had a good front court, they a front office, they'd be fixed in a season. But like,
Yeah.
Detroit is
Like-
gonna be like shitty for a very
Yeah.
long time.
Like New York is New York. Like you can literally change
You can
things.
fix it in a year.
You saw
It's
how
on-
Miami was fixed in like one off season.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's New York is the same way. That's why they're trying to get Masai Ujiri. That they know like one session on his BlackBerry, he's fixing the Knicks. So,
Yeah.
one more question before we go into our conference predictions.
Mhm.
So, where does the conversation surrounding the Rockets has been so odd the last few days? I feel like it's just flipped.
Yeah.
1 second, James Harden is demanding a trade to the
To the
Nets, and it's like, oh my god, lead's broken. Like
Right.
this is gonna be the Warriors 2.0. And then we were looking at Russell Westbrook's gonna be swapped with John Wall, and no one wanted that. But like it's weird because everyone wanted Harden, and even Raptors fans were like, "Yeah, Giannis is a goner. Let's go for Harden." But it looks like the Rockets aren't making those moves. They attained Christian Wood, which was a great get for them, but I'm not sure. They got rid of Covington. Covington is awesome. He was great on that team, so I'm not sure what's going on. Sorry, I have the hiccups. I'm drinking Canada Dry. Cranberry one, it's so good.
It's so good. Yeah.
So yummy. Sorry, it's giving me the hiccups.
Did they sponsor you, Yasmin? She's
yes,
like,
yes. How do they do the video?
Oh yeah. The makeup shit.
No, I was drinking it all video, so I'm like, let me just show them so they don't think I'm just like a milkshake or something.
Local stores.
Yeah, it's supporting Canadian business. I'm not sure if they're Canadian. It's probably like a Chinese company called Canada Dry.
Seriously.
Nothing wrong with that, but
she's doing a good job representing for like the 5 people that are watching us right now.
It's like that, that video where that kid is like playing music outside of his balcony
and everybody's like,
looks down, and his friends are just like, "That's dishes and dimes," in our audience.
That's literally us. Every time I'm like, who am I getting ready for?
I'm just like, yeah, we're having a blast.
Got Jerome in the comments all the time. Like, that's my one fan. Hell yeah.
I love that. This is actually great.
Love you, Sidra.
I see you, Sidra. So anyways, yes, James Harden and Russell Westbrook. So I'm predicting that they try it for half a season, and then we might see some crazy moves. It's actually so sad how bad the market has gotten for Russell Westbrook.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, Jerome confirms that Canada Dry is Canadian. Quick wiki search, thank you. Yeah, so it seems as though I'm gonna guess that they wait half a season before they do anything crazy. Maybe see how Christian Wood fits in. But yeah, it's been hilarious how like they don't know what the hell they're doing over the course of the last few days. Like, it actually makes me sad because yeah, the Russell Westbrook is not going to end up on a contender. James Harden probably will. He's going to end up on a great team. But yeah, it's not looking good. What do you guys see happening with the Rockets?
I don't know if they would like. Why would you want to let your cash cow and James Harden go anywhere else? Like that's who makes you the money. That's who sells your tickets. That's who you would rely on to have any slight of a chance to move forward in the conferences. That's who other players would look at and be like, oh, I want to play with him. So they would come join over your team. So if you're the front office for Houston, you want to make sure, like out of the two, obviously you want to make sure that you keep Harden, right? Like it sucks to say, but that would be my priority. But it sucks because I just don't think many teams want Westbrook. Like I think there's even reports coming out from teams saying that we don't want Westbrook. Like we're okay, we're good, which is, I don't know what Houston would do at that point then.
He's going to end up on Charlotte or something like crazy. He's just going to end up
That's what it sounded like, right?
Yeah, because they were talking about Charlotte for a minute. And that's when you know it's bad. It's like Russell Westbrook should not be in the conversation when it comes to Charlotte. That's horrible. Like, that's so disrespectful. I'd be so upset.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think you're right. I think they're going to wait mid-season, see how they do, get their value kind of hiked up there, and then we'll see what happens.
Or see what they even do with that team, eh? Because like the West is stacked, obviously, but I would still say they might have a chance.
At what?
The Western Conference, like just to move forward, like to make a deep run.
To make it to the playoffs?
Oh,
you think that team's gonna make it?
Houston?
Yeah.
If they kept Russell Westbrook and Harden, like, because yeah, they probably would, I feel like. Who else do you have there? You have the Lakers. I guess this leads us into the conference rankings now.
Yeah. I honestly can't rank 1 to 4 in either conference. I don't know what the hell is happening. I can just predict who's coming out of the conferences. Yeah. That's like the best I can do, and that's even hard for the East. I don't know. Yeah. I'm gonna say For the East, maybe I don't want to say the Bucks. They fail me every time. Nora's like, no. God, I don't know if Miami has the same luck of the draw. The Celtics, I don't know.
I might just say Raptors.
I think Sixers.
Sixers, yes, that's a good one. But even them, they fail me every time. If they stay healthy,
they definitely fail. But like,
if they stay healthy, they look good.
They look really good. Like
they're not gonna win it all because even the Lakers are like a great matchup for them. You could put LeBron on Ben, you could put AD on Embiid. Like that's a great matchup for the Lakers. But yeah, I think the Sixers look the most well-rounded right now.
Yeah.
It remains to be seen whether Doc is able to coach them into making sense. But yeah, we'll see. They do look like the most like well-rounded team because if you think about it, they have Embiid, they have Ben, they got Seth Curry, they got Danny Green. Who's not like Danny Green's like, as we know, icy hot, but I think he brings IQ and
would be fantastic. Yeah.
What else? I feel like they have a player to deal with.
Harris, right?
Yeah, Tobias. Yeah, I think they can put together like two really competent lineups that can be like a active plus on the floor. So I think their only thing is health, as we know when it comes to the Sixers. Ben Simmons had like I think he slightly tore his like meniscus or something like that, and he wasn't able to play. So the Celtics swept them. So yeah, I think health is the only issue, but they do look the best coming out of the East. We'll see. The Raptors. As for the Raptors, I think we should cover that anyway.
Yeah.
I think that they did lose the strength of their center rotation. I think they always had the best center rotation in the NBA thing going for them. I don't think that there's been much of a defensive drop off, and even offensively, I feel like these guys that they got can be maximized.
Right.
Yeah.
So I feel like the Raptors are going to remain the same, and at worst, like a notch below where they were before. Because if you include also like the growth of Pascal, which we can always anticipate, the growth of Van Vliet, OG looks like he was really on the cusp of another leap in the bubble.
Yeah.
When you think about his handle and how consistent he was in the Celtics series. So I think that they can actually make up for what they've lost just based on the talent of the players and like marginal growth. It does change if they opt to get rid of Norman Powell and offset his salary early in mid-season. I don't know when that's going to be this year. Maybe it's going to be in March or something.
Yeah.
That there can be a drop off if we lose like 6-man scoring like that. Hopefully we get like something in return that can make up for it, but we'll see. But yeah, I think the Raptors will be good, and best case scenario with good execution, I think that they have a chance to sneak into the Eastern Conference Finals, just like I thought last year.
Yeah.
I think the Nets are not going to be as
no.
Yeah, I think they're going to have a really rough first half of the season, at least, just from natural like chemistry things that they need to build. KD playing 5-on-5, in an NBA setting again. Yeah, I think it's going to take them a moment to adjust. So, yeah.
Oh, what seed, though? You didn't say what seed you think.
I honestly can't.
We're making predictions.
It could honestly, like we saw the 5th seed Miami Heat make the finals. Like, yeah. I don't know where the Raptors end up because that bunch in the East is so like close.
Yeah.
But I feel like the Raptors, like they execute very well in the regular season. I wouldn't be surprised if they're like the 3 seed this season, maybe 2 or 3. It wouldn't be shocking. But it shouldn't indicate that, if they're the 2 seed, that means they're going to be in the Eastern Conference Finals. It's not guaranteed. But being
propaganda regardless.
I think the whole point this season, like it was last season, is to just look competitive. Look like you have young talent, look like you're just a piece away, You know, they look like you want an MVP to see your team and be like, hey, if I just inject myself into this squad, that's like championship favorites for years to come. You know, that's the point, and I think they can do that.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely expecting growth from Pascal. We haven't heard from him since like we literally haven't heard from him. He hasn't said anything. He didn't even say anything when Fred signed. Like, you know, typically he would be like, "Yo, my boy."
Yeah.
No.
I'm sure he messaged him, but he didn't. No public displays.
He's not speaking to us.
Yeah.
So I think he's just very locked in. I do see him developing. I think Fred, of course, knowing Fred, he's going to develop. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens with Matt Thomas.
Pascal posted a picture on Twitter.
Ooh. Okay, so he's back.
What is the picture?
Good back.
Is it this date? Check the date.
Pascal Siakam. Why can't I find his Twitter?
Oh no.
What's his name on Twitter? Oh,
I think it's P Skills.
So,
no.
Oh wait, no. Jerome said it's not. You see how excited we got? Training camp needs to begin now.
Oh, God, Sandy! Sandy, stop!
What did I say?
Sorry, go on.
Oh, so I feel like I don't know, like if we're gonna get a chance at Giannis this season, has to show like real development with Freddie, with Pascal, with even some of the role players, like a Matt Thomas. We have to see some of these guys really develop into their roles, so we can attract a Giannis type to come here. Like we can look like, oh, we're one piece away from a championship. So I'm gonna go on record and say that we're gonna finish the season second seed. I don't think we had such a drop, like a major drop defensively. I think we'll be able to get it together. I trust Nick Nurse to bully our team into being decent. And I think it's just going to be a really fun season. Like our team knows how to play on the road as well. And
they're very disciplined.
Very disciplined. And I think the bubble situation is really going to bring them closer together like it did in the bubble. So I'm really excited to see all of them. I'm like super excited to see what this team looks like going into the new season.
Yeah, I have no expectations. Like I think not that I have no expectations, but I think like just as Raptor fans, we're not able to put championship or even Eastern Conference final expectations on this season. And I think that almost makes it more fun because now you're just like whatever else happens, that's just a treat. Like that's bonus. I'll take it. It's a cherry on top. But like you guys said, I would not be surprised if we're second or third at all because on top of what we lost, we replicated it pretty well, I think. The only big question mark that I would have for the Raptors currently would be Terrence Davis and what's going on over there. And I think you would understand more going down the line what your team's going to look like and who's going to come through and who's going to have to contribute and everything. But if you look at last season we had so many injuries throughout the whole year where we were like, this team hasn't played together.
Yeah.
There were maybe like 20 games like that. It was that little, it was so tiny. And with that, we have to have so much bench contribution, so much of everybody else have to come through. And that happened. They came through and we were so huge into our bench squad at that point. So I think, even without our main players, we made it to second in the East last year. And that was, like I said, with 20 games that we pretty much barely play with all the players healthy and together. And if that's the case for the next season and we're all looking healthy, we're all looking good, we have new players added, these seems to be a good fit. I think in terms of, I think both Serge and Gasol, because For him, he seems like he would have that IQ as well as the speed that Gasol lacked and the IQ that Serge lacked. So you kind of get both in Aaron Baines. And then obviously when you put him next to Kyle, anyone's going to look good next to Kyle. Malachi's going to look great next to Kyle and Fred. They're going to take him under their wing. I just, with that going forward, I don't think that we're anywhere near rebuilding the way that people are describing it. We're not going to be off the playoffs at all. Like we're still in the playoffs to the point where, like I said, I would not be surprised if we're the second seed at all. And I hope right now Pascal smells like a basketball and he
like a rubber.
ended up in the gym. Like that's where he's sleeping, because like the way that he's dealt with that season and all that shit that he had to deal with afterwards. There's no way this man is not going to come back looking like a 10th version of himself. Like we don't even need a new player. We just have Pascal and like a whole new Pascal body.
Or like honestly, like it's funny because at worst, like if he just looks like how he did prior to the bubble, like that's like fine. Just play like yourself. Like
that.
It was so difficult because like he was not playing like himself. He didn't look like Pascal at all. You know what I mean? He looked like
it was a
2017
whole different person.
Yeah, he looked like his bench mob. Like it's like he regressed after that all that time off, and just felt so uncomfortable on the court.
Yeah.
So at most, I just wanted to play like himself, like just be true to his own style and stuff. If he shows further growth, that's like a huge win for the franchise. But just play like that guy that Masai gave that max to. You know what I mean? That's like the most you can ask for from him. But yeah, I think we covered like everything. What else? I see some Masai questions.
Yep.
Always extension.
Masai's extension. I honestly, my theory, it sounds like a conspiracy theory, but I think that he's waiting until next offseason. If he does secure Giannis, I think he can ask for like shares of MLS and stuff. So perhaps he's waiting because like a player like Masai, I don't think people understand. A player like Giannis like can double the value of the franchise. Like the Raptors are already like approaching, like they're already in the top 10 in terms of most valuable franchises. Getting Giannis puts them in like Lakers, Warriors territory in a few years. So Masai would be able to ask for shares of the company, I can imagine. Like I feel like he would have like they can probably like prolong support of his efforts in Africa. Like
build a stadium in Nigeria.
Yes, I don't be shocked if he just waits till next off season, when he has more leverage, when he can show that when he can demonstrate that look, I brought a free agent to this team. That's what I feel. I feel like just this team is for him. And if it's not the end of the world if Bobby takes over, because I think that's what I would imagine, that if Masai leaves, Bobby Webster would be promoted to team president. He's pretty much like the brain behind a lot of what the Raptors do anyways. He's the one who
connections too, I believe, right? That's what
he's the one who had the connection to get Kawhi. Like that was him, you know what I mean? Besides like the figurehead, he's the face of the franchise that people think of. But a lot of the logistic things,
super smart too.
Yeah, he's oftentimes the brains behind a lot of what they do. So no matter what, I think the team will be in good hands. It was I don't know. I feel like we're stuck in like worst case scenario mode as Raptors fans because of that heartbreak, the heartbreak of last summer.
It's PTSD. It's definitely PTSD.
It's continuous. I don't know if I've seen Masai go anywhere else though. I think maybe the pull to make a team like Knicks or the Wizards would be huge for him. But at the same time, he doesn't seem like that kind of a guy. Like I don't think men who are international and not based in the US think the way that athletes in the US think. They're not going to be tied down to, it's America. Like it's
like in Canada.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, like exactly what you said. You're correct. Like I was just going to say that like in Canada, he has like connections to politicians and the prime minister and stuff. I'm not sure he would be as valued in that way.
There'd
New York
for him for sure.
Yeah,
he's not going to get anything done there, but that way his connections are established. His Giants of Africa and everything is so much more prominent. It's more justified, or not justified, I want to say, but more just more apparent in the government. Like it's just everywhere at that point. So I don't know if he leaves, and I think he's shown his support for Canada, and he built this team. He built all these guys. He got these guys here. His future is literally OG, Pascal, and Fred. I hope he doesn't leave until they're at least
established in that way. Oh, she broke up.
Yeah, I did that. Sorry, guys.
I was just I was going to say really quickly, I understand people's anxiety when it comes to Masai, because it's not just what he's building in Toronto, but how that connects to Giants of Africa and him developing African talent. And I think that being able to kind of streamline these players and bring them into the Toronto system, like I've thought of that a lot. Like if he leaves, that connection to those players may be severed. So I do understand the anxiety, and that's part of my anxiety with Masai. It's like, please don't leave, because I know there's an Embiid somewhere chilling in Nigeria or like Ethiopia somewhere, and you're gonna go find them. You're gonna develop them. And you're gonna probably.
I don't think like someone said that there's nothing more to do. I think that Masai, like his child, like he brought a championship, but I feel like bringing a free agent is like his next
the biggest one.
Yeah, I feel like he wants to do that. Yeah, like
the other person said, yeah, I'm not happy with one. I want another one now. I tasted that high. Give me another one. I'm an addict.
He also ruined his championship celebration. He probably wants one without the bullshit they had to go through that night too. I would.
I love how we're like moving on to the next one, but like what is it? Celtics fans had one in the last 25 years. Yeah. So can you imagine like winning a championship is like, it's a big deal. Like you win one and now I'm already like, okay, 2021, I need them
like,
to win that year. Yeah. Summer in Toronto, I need them to win 22 as well.
And you did it really well too. Like a team like Toronto, we would do like amazing if we continue to win. Our brands, our culture, everything would just get so much more. The city, exactly. The players, the people here playing basketball. I remember growing up here, you would never see a basketball court in someone's driveway. That was such an alien thing. And now it's my dad's playing basketball, and I'm like, well, how'd you know what that sport is? Like, it's crazy. Like there's so much of that culture happening here. And to the point where I almost think that in a couple years, we're going to have our own Canadian, like our Raptors team is going to be actually Canadian teams. Like it's going to be Jamal Murray, Shai, RJ Barrett coming back and like creating that dynasty. Cause if I don't know how anyone can look at what Kawhi did here and how we treated him and
not be tantalized.
He had in Canada. Like he could have made so much more money here than he could have anywhere else, because just because of the brand, just because of how much support he had. And when you look at that and you're like, shit, that's literally like King of the North. Like that's Jon Snow shit. Like that would be amazing if I got there. Like that's, if you're really about brands, like that's what you would think, that's what you would go for. So I hope people saw that his run here, his championship run, how we treated him and how much of a huge star he was, and that we're not a small market team. Like you have a fucking country behind you who's like salivating over how do we get Norm.
Agreed.
Call me, I'll be there.
It's like, who's that? It's like, oh, that's Noor. It's like no title, just Noor. Just let her speak.
You'll find out. Don't worry, you'll find out. You'll know who she is by the end of it. She just talks to you.
I think that's everything. We covered all our topics off season. Hopefully something crazy happens again so we can see you guys next week.
Sorry, I just saw someone's stupid comment. Oh, sorry, I don't want to be rude either, but Toronto wants KD, and how did that work out? Toronto doesn't get major elite free agents.
What was that? 2014, I think it was 2015.
Like,
I don't know. I think it's important to remember that this is like a super young franchise. This is like a 25 franchise. There are franchises who are like in a half century years old, and they have not. They have a smaller, no championships in their past.
Okay.
You know,
y'all need to relax. When we take over I can't wait till Giannis comes here. You guys are gonna dislike us. Like, just block everybody from Raptors Twitter. We're coming for you. I just want you to know. At me.
Hito Turkoglu. Get out of here.
Let us get Giannis. You better just block all of Raptors Twitter.
Yeah, for their own sake, it shouldn't hapen.
No, you might have to burn that city yourself at that point. Like, Milwaukee is gonna be a joke.
So just to let you guys know, I don't know if you guys know this, but I think it's December 21st or 22nd. That's the last date to sign contracts. So after that, they can't do it until the next off season. So we should have a countdown. We should put a countdown on the Dishes Twitter.
And Don's page. Before we quickly go, I read an article saying that he's going to sign the Supermax. They're thinking he's going to sign the Supermax, but he might leave a clause so he can request a trade. So
I saw that one, yeah.
Yeah, so it's very likely that he's going to sign it, but...
Yeah, that's the most likely scenario.
Yeah, next season when things don't go according to plan.
We'll see what happens then. Either way, a lot of cap space.
We have Pascal. So, like...
fun
What?
basketball till Shay's available and Jamal Murray.
Until Jamal wants to come home.
And we still, like, honestly, yeah, we're not that, we're really young of a franchise, but since 2014, we've been in the
winning.
We've been
Like, yeah.
Like, we can't say anything. We've lost to LeBron. Like, that was our hurdle. And then the second he left, we won the championship. And then the bubble happened, so it doesn't count anyway.
Stop being
So
haters. That's all we have to say. Stop being haters. Like it's not cute. Stop being a hater.
And we're not even being rude right now.
The
Like,
franchise is old.
like we could
You
get
only had 1 championship, 2 championships.
Yeah.
Stop being a hater. Like our franchise is in the mid-20s. Like relax. We have many years to go. Just relax, haters.
I'm cruising. All right.
So anyways, everyone,
We like you too, but like don't make those comments, please.
North heated.
You're getting heated. Like you're getting
I'm
heated.
red, actually.
I'm
Bunch of
dead.
play. Like,
You guys are so funny. Oh my god. So he knows he's getting more heated, so just ignore the trolling. I hope we addressed every topic that has arisen. Is that a word? I don't know.
yes,
Over the last, that's what my writing consists of. Just like I type things, and if it's not a word, I'll like make sure it's not. If it is, you know, like, a lot of things I type aren't words, and I'm just like, whoa. I've been what?
That happens to me, and I'm like, I've been saying this out loud.
I'm like, whoa. Or I didn't know it was a word, but it sounds like it should be, and then it is. I'm like, whoa. That's why I'm a writer. That's why I write. So anyways, have a great night, everyone.
Go watch Pick and Roll, actually, Iman. And
yeah, go watch Pick and Roll.
Pick and
Look at
roll with
that.
it.
Well, it's already started. So go
That's
watch it right
crazy.
now. Support our girl Iman and Assad.
So anyways, make sure to like, subscribe, leave reviews on our Apple podcast page. And yeah, this is the Dishes and Dimes Weekly Show brought to you by Basketball News. So have a wonderful evening, everyone. Hopefully we have some more interesting things that happen over the next few days before the season begins. Training camp is next week. So we're going to see our teams after, a short off season. So have a great night, everyone. Bye, ladies.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you guys.
Suck. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
I'm trying to leave.